Hi everyone, it's Amanda Schertzer from amandaschertzer.com, part of your Lightworker support team. I'm here with another Wednesday article. I want to let you know about a sale I'm running this month. It's 25% off all channeled readings. You can book by going to amandaschertzer.as.me and enter the code SPRING25 to get your 25% off. Now on to the article. If you haven't yet heard the term the event in the context of spirituality, and I'd be surprised if you haven't, I'll give you the definition as I understand it. The event is a happening in which a great love sweeps over the planet, removing negative polarity or negative entities, thus allowing us to shift into a higher consciousness or shift to another dimensional existence known as New Earth. I have been fascinated by the idea of the event, but since about the third wave of predictions in which the date came and went and no event happened, I decided to go within and try to find the truth or my truth of what the event is and if it even exists. According to what I discovered, there's good news and then there's really good news. But first, the good news. From two of my own personal hypnosis sessions that I had myself, as well as many questions to my collective of guides, the answer seems to be that the event is a last-ditch effort when absolutely everything else fails and the people of Earth are headed toward a path of devastation and destruction so severe that Earth will be destroyed along with all life. Since we're still here, sans event, it seems we're not currently on that path. And the reason for not having the event until that point, they say, is because there is much more opportunity for growth without it. Why? Well, if you're a light worker of, say, 5th or 6th density, and you're here to help the planet and the people ascend out of 3rd density, what is the benefit of you being whisked off back to your higher density? If you're of the density of service to others, you no longer have anyone to serve. And what do those who need to complete the lessons of 3rd density learn? If they're not finished with their lessons and you take them out of their classroom, they remain 3rd density beings. No one advances. And I hear you, you're saying, we just want to take the extreme of negative polarity off the planet so that the 3rd density beings can advance more easily. Well, here's the really good news. None of us have to go anywhere, and we can set off a chain reaction to create the equivalent of the event right here and as soon as possible. How do we do that? Well, according to the guides and many channeled messages and ancient religious texts, the only way to dissolve negative polarity is to fill it with positive polarity. The tricky part is that it runs counter to our culture and our ego to do so. To dissolve the negative, you have to send it light. And the easiest way to do that is to love it. I told you it was tricky. I think most people consider that a difficult task. But think of it this way. If you were to get really angry with someone and you yelled at them, are they likely to turn to you, look at you lovingly and say, "Thank you so much, I love you"? No, they're most likely to get angry right back. But what if they did thank you and love you and they weren't being sarcastic about it? Would you be able to stay angry at them? You'd probably be too confused to continue to be angry. I think you'll agree that anger toward anger equals more anger, but love toward anger equals less anger or no anger. So now that you know negative emotions can't exist in the presence of love, you also know how to dissolve negative polarity. This is talked about in the raw material. Negatively polarized entities don't usually incarnate here on Earth because they're too afraid of being positively polarized because of the veil of forgetting. If they can't constantly maintain their negative polarity with vigilance, they can easily change polarities. And there's no judgment about which polarity a being chooses, because eventually everything returns to positive polarity to merge back with Source. However, we're talking about the event, here and now, and how to make it happen. So here's the answer. You trigger it in yourself. You become so much love that negative polarity isn't even a possibility for you. Does negative polarity still exist in the world? Yes. But as Abraham says, don't put it in your pie. If you haven't heard the story about the Tabasco in your pie, I'll put a link in the description. But the gist of it is that the more you focus on the negative and the more you're afraid it might impact you, the more likely it is to do so. Why? Because you're feeding it, as the old Tale of the Two Wolves goes. Feed it love instead. Try something like, "Hey, Tabasco, you aren't my favorite, but I see how some people actually want to try you out. So you do you. I'm going to love you for your ability to help others learn." Or, some variation of that. And yes, I get that a lot of people aren't consciously choosing Tabasco. That's why we have to set the example and show them how to not focus on the Tabasco. Keep it out of your pie, and you'll show them how they can keep it out of theirs. Not to mention you're setting an energetic blueprint, which makes it easier for them to do what you've done. Once the chain reaction of beings choosing positive polarity and dissolving negative with love starts igniting everywhere, boom, there's your event. No more negative polarity because, as we say in the South, ain't nobody paying attention to them, bless their hearts. Literally, bless their hearts. So there it is. To create the event ourselves, all we have to do is send love to the negative and keep it out of our pie instead of feeding the negative by paying attention to it, by spreading fear, by worrying, and by reacting to negative with more negative. Set the example and the energetic blueprint. If you resonate as a light worker, starseed, or a wanderer, you came here to learn how to be of service to others or to learn how to balance love and wisdom. You help third density beings learn to focus on love and how to work together as a collective, and they advance. And you advance by helping and learning what works best without infringing upon their free will. Win-win. Negatively polarized beings with nothing to do here but flip polarities, merge back to source, or go somewhere else to learn about negative polarity. Sounds pretty good to me. I'm in. How about you?